welcome to fmtraining.tv. My name is Margaret. I'll be your broadcast engineer for today. I hope you're all having a lovely, it's Thursday, right? Whew, it's been a week. I hope y'all are having a lovely Thursday. It's good to have you all here. I have quite the set of people with me today, but I'm going to be focusing on Connor Brock and Derek Lee, which is from Claris Engineering, and they are going to be discussing the AI part of FileMaker 2025, which is a huge part of the new release. So a quick recap, if you happen to be joining us for the first time today, as of Tuesday last week, Claris released a new version of FileMaker, FileMaker 2025. It is a huge release. I will post the release notes. If you compare the release notes from 2025 to 2024 or 2023, you'll notice it's like doubled in size. The amount of stuff that's been shoved into this release is insane. As a result, we're having a month's worth of streams focused purely on the new features. The big head title feature is going to be the AI feature. There's a lot of additional AI integration that has occurred, and understanding the magnitude of it will be really awesome. To enable that, yesterday we had a general FileMaker 2025 deep dive with Lucy Chen, Clay Mackel, and Wei Zhu from engineering. Today we're going to be doing a deep dive specifically into the AI part of the functionality. The next 2 weeks, we will also be doing introductions to AI, coding with development in AI, going through with Wim DeCourt and Todd Geist, who you might recognize the names of. We are doing this much in AI, and Claris Engineering wanted to show up today to discuss AI with us because we're all new to it, kind of as a developer community. So we want to hit the ground running and really understand it so we can really leverage it in our solutions. So, hello, people. It's good to see you all. I see you all on YouTube, Twitch, and Discord. If you want to hop to we do stream to 3 different platforms. If you want to hop to a different platform, let me know. If you ask questions, I will forward them on to the team here, so that way you can chat at them. Okay. I think we're good. We're good. So, Connor and Derek, hi, hello. Do you want to introduce yourself real quick? And then I hear you've got demos for us, which is always exciting.
That's right. Hi, Margaret. I'm Connor Brock. I'm on the QA side of the engineering team, focused on finding bugs and reproducing critical customer issues in the FileMaker platform. And great to be here.
Good. It's good to have you here. How about you, Derek?
Hey everyone, I am on the live team alongside with Connor, but I'm on the engineering side of it. So working on the new great features, and hopefully you guys get to try them out and even use them in your workplace. So thank you.
Excellent. No, it's exciting. I'm very excited. There's a lot I want to do with it, but I just got to see how it works first. Speaking of which, I hear we have demos. Please show me the demos.
That's right. So I'll be happy to start that off, just to share my screen here, just to set up what I'm about to show. So as you said, Margaret, the main focus this release is AI, and in particular, what we added in this release is a lot more functionality on the text generation side, and also on the being able to host your own model server. And so that's something that's hosting your own model server is built into the FileMaker server side. We've got a new tab here for AI services. And on the text generation side, there's a great suite of new script steps that can be used for that. And so what I'm going to do is demo them together a little bit. So one of the things that you can do now with your own models is tune them for your business needs. And so you can do that through a combination of fine tuning, training, and also feeding in documents that contain your business information. And so that's the part that I'm going to demo here. That's called using RAG. So that's retrieval augmented generation. And what that allows the AI model to do is to view the contents of the file and reference that when answering questions that can be answered with the contents of that file. And so in this release, we support PDF files for that, and also just straight text. So what I've got installed already is the latest release of FileMaker Server 22. And I just have it running as an AI server at the moment. I've got my Hugging Face token entered already, so that allows me to download the models that I want. And the models that pertain to RAG, there's two sides of it. There's the embedding side and then the prompt generation side. And so yeah, this is the documents do need to be fed in for embedding first before you can query against them. And so unlike other forms of embedding or that we had in the previous release, this is where you specify the model on the server side, not in the script for this half of it. And so this is something you can do just here in the model server page. If we scroll down, you'll see that we have a section for specifying a preloaded embedding model. And I've got one here, the multi-QA model specified. That's what's going to be used for the embedding when I do that. And so I can just, let me go ahead and show the models I've got listed. Not all of these have been downloaded. We can really only have one model loaded at a time of a certain type. So we've got, you may notice we've got image embedding, we've got text embedding, we've got text generation as the three model types. And so my current loaded models are this for the text embedding, and I've got this Gemma 3 model for text generation. So that's what I'm going to use to query against the files. So not running on FileMaker server, I just have a local FileMaker database that I built for this I am pointing towards my AI server. So I can show you how I've done that using the configure RAG count script step.
Yeah, I definitely want to see this.
Yeah, so this is where you can just specify an account name, and this can be anything you like. You just to reference it later in your script step. Just keep in mind what it is, and then I can specify the endpoint by calculation, and you can see back in the admin console what the endpoint syntax should look like if your endpoint is FileMaker server. So you can see the path in that. And then
so you can use that script step to interact with like any AI model, but also the ones on your FileMaker server. Is that what you're telling me?
Right. So this yeah, so I think we just released we're either just released or working on a white paper that explains how you could point this to a different model server that's not hosted in the same environment as your database server. But yeah, this is just to point it towards a local model server, wherever you like. And the API key that you see here is something that you can generate also from admin console. You can do create key and specify the privileges and how long it's good for. And at the end of that process, it will give you a string that you can put in. So let me just do another one here just to show what that process looks like.
Got it.
Specify this. Okay. And I'm going to specify how long it's for. Okay, and then here's the string it can give. It can just copy that, and I could use that as the API key.
Okay.
And so that's for setting up RAG. For the prompt side, we still want to use the script steps that was the script step that was introduced last version for configure AI account. And so I'm actually going to run both, one to set up RAG and then one to set up for the prompting side. And so I can use I'm going to use open source for the demo here, but you can also use OpenAI for the prompting. Even though you do the embedding on FileMaker server side, you can prompt against it with OpenAI if you want to. And then once you've got those accounts set up, then as far as interacting with RAG, there's basically you can add and remove content from a space. And so this concept of spaces is how RAG can keep separate different users' data or different use cases data if you want to. And so when I'm going to add data to a space, I can specify that space and then just refer back to it later. And so for the purposes of this demo, I think I'll just keep it all in one space. But you can see in my demo file, I've just given it a name. R2 is my space ID. I am able to pull a list of the content that's already been added to this space by using a new function called get space ID or get space info. And so I can just switch over to a different layout. You can see in this field here, this get space info is returning a JSON content showing everything that's been added to this space so far. But this is something that can be easily parsed and shown in a more manageable way, such as list view here. And when you're doing the adding of the content, it is using this new step called perform RAG action. And so this is where you again specify the account, the space you're going to put it in, and then the action is it's either add data, query against it with send prompt, or remove the data. And when removing data, it's not an all or nothing thing. You can remove just certain bits that were added previously based off of the ID, and so that's something we can demo here. So I've got some files already added. So my use case for this demo is I'm attempting to build a chatbot that you can ask questions about FileMaker Server to, or in particular with a focus on the new release, the new features. So you can see the kinds of PDFs I've fed in already. Things like the ETS release notes, the public release notes, PDF summarizing the features, the system requirements, some various topics from the existing FileMaker Server help I've put in there about AI, SSL, troubleshooting. And then I threw in the README that is included about setting up OpenLLM server as well. So with all of that content there, we can just try to ask a question against it and see what that looks like. So what I've done is rather than building out my own chat system, I'm using the add-on that was shown in ETS a while back too, and have just modified it a little bit to use the RAG prompt instead of the natural language query. So we can just ask it, for example, what version of Java is used with FileMaker Server 22? And I guess what I'm expecting it to do is to look through all of these documents and find the contextual answer that best fits. So as you can see, based on the provided context, FileMaker Server 22 uses JDK 17, which is thankfully correct. So I'm glad that it gave an accurate answer there.
No, this is really cool.
Yeah. And we can give it another one. So we could ask, can I use SSL for free? And I think while it's generating the answer, I'll just say that the response time is going to depend entirely on like the hardware that you're running this on. And so that's something that we're going to certainly talk more about here. In my case, I'm actually just running it on a local machine. That it's a first generation Mac Studio with 120 gigs of RAM.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not bad, but I think it if yeah, it certainly there's more high-end machines to run this on too, but you can see that wasn't bad. But yeah, here's
No.
the answer. Yeah, you can use this cell for free. As you can see, where it's talking, the answer it's giving is actually about the new features in FileMaker Server 22 using Let's Encrypt to do that. So this is evidence to me that it's not gone out and found that information online or anything. This is using this is reading from the content that I gave it to do that.
This is very cool. Like I want to go make this and immediately fiddle with it. I don't quite know what I'd put in there yet, but I want to try
Yeah, I can.
it.
Let me just show what the add process looks like here. So you can add either a document or text, and I'm just going to add a document. I'm going to use the admin API reference that I've saved out as a PDF using add doc, and so that is using the perform rag action script step with add to do this. And then I'm having it check back on the get rag space info function to rebuild this list that we're going to look at. This is kind of a lengthy document, so a lot of the documents that I've added here are really snappy to add to the space info. But yeah, just depending on the size of the content, it's got to parse it. Okay, so you can see it's been added to the end. It's got a new ID. Since it's a PDF document, it's typed as file name. So we can ask it a question that maybe will target that new document, such as so I'd like it to the login process to admin API is something that can get complicated. So let's just see how well it can just summarize that from the information I've given it. By the way, this particular PDF I've added is the same that you would get if you just targeted your FileMaker server endpoint. It's the live doc. So here we go. Yeah, we've got a summary at the top and then step-by-step breakdown. I think this looks quite a bit like the content that we pull out of that live document for the admin API reference. So, but it's not exact. So you can see that it has tried to summarize it a little bit. And then just to demo the removal, let me just remove that and let me just ask the same question again. Let's see how it does now that I've removed that document. All right, so now it's gone totally off the rails. It is as these models do. They're going to do their best to answer the question even though they don't know. But now we're talking about Hugging Face, which is not at all. But something at the bottom is still talking about authorization bearer. So, and then so that's documents, but you can also add just straight text, and so that will get added as well. Hey, I think my VPN blipped. My apologies.
No, you're good. It's the nature of being live. We do have a question. In an effort to benchmark where we are in the AI learning curve, would you consider this topic to be introductory, intermediate, or advanced?
Setting up AI servers and such I think we're going to try to provide all the documentation necessary to do that. But this is a technology that we're all kind of learning at the same time. And so there's a lot of questions that could be asked. I think we can anticipate.
Yes.
I don't know. Do you want to add any more to that, Derek?
Yeah. Obviously, if you guys remember, for 21.1, we had like the insert embedding, and found set. Those, I think people should grasp a good knowledge of those. I would say beginner. Setting the AI server, we made it super simple. If not, let us know. But actually adding stuff to RAG, I would say intermediate.
Yeah, because I was looking at the script steps and that looked doable. Okay. Anything that says API on it, a lot of beginner FileMaker developers are going to immediately panic. But if they are not, I've worked with APIs and I'm an intermediate level FileMaker developer. It makes me go like, a little bit, but it's very doable. You read the documentation, it's fine. So I think probably the actual scripting side on the pro side is probably going to be a solid intermediate level. Um, it's just server setup is always going to get a little dicey, even if you guys make it super simple. A lot of people in the developer community don't fiddle with servers very much, so they're always going to panic a little when they see a server coming their way, which is understandable.
I
So,
can totally see that. Mhm.
uh, in simple terms, what's happening full circle? So you start at adding the document behind the hood, like a simple step-by-step top level what's going on.
Um, yeah, I can let me maybe see if I can share again on this. So what's going on here is yeah, under the hood. So um, I guess first, do the logins, configure the accounts. Step two is do your add. And so I guess you can see in my add step here, I am doing the configure account first, then doing the add, and then I'm doing some checking from the get ragspace info just to make sure it's there. And then as far as querying against it, the prompts, this is it's the same script step, perform rag action, just with the send prompt instead. And so essentially you can just treat this kind of like you would like any other prompt step that we support. You just pick a target out. You can specify a template if you like, and add parameters to tweak that result. And then yeah, I think you're off to the races at that point. Once you have the content added, just start querying it.
Okay, so first you configure the accounts.
Mhm.
Then you actually set up all the text documents it's going to be looking at. Basically, you give it
Mhm.
what the text and the documents it's looking at are in the script steps, and then finally you prompt it to get an answer, correct?
That's right. Yeah.
Cool.
Um, yeah. And I guess I can just show real quick too how I did a quick modification of the app assistant to make it use RAG. So
Yes.
when you install that add-on, this is the folder of steps that it adds to your list. And so this LLM prompt is the script that is already existing there. Um, Scrolling down a little ways, this was the original version. It does perform SQL query by natural language. I've just commented that out and added my own, just mirroring the script steps that were there before, and just doing updating since that particular add-on uses a web viewer to render. Um, and you can see it in the original version. There's some updating of JavaScript in the web viewer that's going on. So I'm mimicking that with its own perform JavaScript in web viewer step, just to perform the same operations there. And that was all that was necessary to sort of just hook into the app assistant to make it start doing rag prompts. Um,
There you
so
go. Okay, so that's good to know.
mhm.
I'm going to guess it probably looks a lot scarier for people than it actually is.
Yeah, I mean the nice thing about the add-ons is that it's already built for you, so it's just tweaking is not bad.
A
So
lot easier than
yeah,
building it from baseline.
yeah, hmm certainly. So yeah, I guess happy to take any questions about that, or um, you can uh,
We
yeah, I don't
do
know if
have
there's any.
yeah yes no what I've been
Mhm.
watching over the corner. I wanted to let you finish your demo before I drown you
Yeah,
in questions. Uh, we'll take a couple and then I'll want to make sure we get to Derek's presentation, so I'm not going to get
sure.
everyone's. So, what's the prompt language or instruction for it? Are we giving it a description of the document?
No need in this case. So it is able to just read the contents of the document, and follow the context clues of what is relevant to use in generating the answer from that. So yeah, I didn't feed it anything other than the contents of the document in this case.
So basically, the only instruction was the question you actually sent.
Yeah, that's right. So,
Nice. Oh, we've got someone asking, where do I find that add-on? Where is that located?
I know it was an ETS for a while.
I think it's going to be distributed in a bit via engineering blog, if I remember correctly. So I
Ah,
think it's
Yeah.
imminent. Yeah.
okay. So, future, eagerly await the future release, which will be coming out soon. So, I don't have a link for you now. When I do have a link, I will share with you all. Uh, could we see the actual details on, okay, so I think you kind of already did this, but I'll ask it
Mhm.
anyway. Could we see
Sure.
the actual details on the script step on how he's prompting the RAG lookup for the model? Uh,
Look up for the model. So doing the RAG account,
like if you,
I think this is what we're talking about.
yeah, if you click that, what's the pop-up window that shows up?
Uh, yeah, in this case, some of the options are sort of inline modifiable. So
Hmm.
at the gear end, we've just got an option to verify SSL or not. But the three inline options are RAG account name, the endpoint, and the API key, and that's all there is to it. Um, and so that those are all. The first one is up to you what you want to specify, but the endpoint and the API key, you can get both of those values from the admin console. Um,
There you go. I'm
yeah.
gonna toss this question out because it's one that I've seen pop up a couple times, and I think it's important because I think some people are not understanding. We definitely want them to understand.
Hmm.
So is FileMaker server required to use any AI? Can I not implement an AI in an individual FileMaker database without the server, without, it being attached to the server?
Yeah. So the server side functionality is more for if you're wanting to host local models for yourself. But if you want to just use the client side, database side script steps to talk to ChatGPT or any other model that's out there that other people are hosting, you can do that too. So yeah, the server side, the value that we see in that is if you keep it local, then you can be the one that owns the data in the end. You can be confident you're not sharing that data out with others, but we're certainly not limiting you to doing that kind of usage. So,
Yeah, so basically the FileMaker AI script steps in Pro don't need the AI loaded on server in order to actually interact with AI. You can take your Pro AI script steps and interact with any open model out there.
yeah, I
Um,
guess the only exception is the RAG that I just demoed that does require a FileMaker server. Yeah.
yes, there you
Mhm.
go. So there's that specific exception.
Yeah.
Hopefully that answers that question. I've seen it like a couple times. Uh, because people are like, oh, there's AI on both ends. Why is there AI on both ends? Because they're serving different purposes. Uh,
Yeah.
related but different. Okay, so I think we're good on the questions, and I want to get to Derek. So, Derek, I hear that you also have slides for me.
I
So,
do.
what are we
I
doing?
do. You can hear me, right?
I
Just to
can.
make sure. Okay, perfect. So thank you, Connor, and thank you, Margaret, for having me here. Um, I'm going to demo two script steps, the perform find by natural language and the perform SQL by natural language. Both of these are extremely powerful tools that you can use to ask questions on your database or on layouts. So the first one is the perform find by natural language. Um, Unlike RAG, there are really only two script steps you really need. So here we have the configure AI count. For this specific one, I'm configuring it for OpenAI. And then the second one is the find by natural language. So for the purposes of my next demo, I'm actually using this script step and I donated it over to the Siri shortcuts. If you went to Engage, you probably saw this demo. It's a pretty cool one. But I have the database set up here, and I'm just going to go ahead and quickly ask a question about who scored more than 1,000 points.
Oh, okay. Real quick,
Mhm.
Derek, I'm going to have you pause. It just occurred to me.
Yes,
We should have done this. Brief pause.
yes.
If you go to share, I don't hear your audio, which is a problem.
Oh, there's no audio. Don't
Oh, is
worry.
there no? Oh, okay. I thought
There's
there
no
was
audio.
audio.
No,
Okay.
no, no.
That
Sorry.
was
No,
my
I
fault.
just stressed you out.
That's my fault for derailing you. I was like, oh
No, no,
no,
no.
we're good. Okay, sorry. Do you want to restart
That's the
that?
weird part of this portion. There's like I'm using Siri, but there's no audio in it.
Okay, you said
Yeah.
Siri, so I was like, oh, video, there's audio. No, okay,
No,
sorry.
no, no, no. But everything, like you can see, I use like the Siri command to prompt, and then I obviously have a shortcut set up here to trigger the script step. So um, once I ask the question, it's going to send it to the perform find by natural language. Right now it's set up with OpenAI, and then we can see the results here. I asked for who scored more than 1,000 points, and we can look here, so the career. And, sort of to cycle through each of the records, we can see they all have more than 1,000 points. So that's the perform find by natural language. If Margaret, if you want, we can take some questions on this, or I can move on to the next one.
I want you to play this one again for me one last time, because
Yes,
I want to
it
see
is
it again.
fast. Sorry.
No, that's totally fine. The better to understand it with.
Yeah. A lot of moving parts, but
Would you like to find? The fact that you can do this is insane, by the way. This is super cool.
yeah, it's hooked up to the Siri shortcut donations. I think that was already released. So it takes in a script parameter, and then we're able to perform the find. So
Okay, cool. That's awesome.
yeah. Mhm.
I definitely want to see the next one now.
Okay, the next one is just as cool, if not cooler. I mean, they're both really cool. This one has to do more with the SQL side. So when you set up your database, especially for 22, we want to make sure that we include some comments for LLMs. Sometimes field names may not be completely accurate in terms of describing what's stored inside them. So inside this database, I have, obviously, this database is just for students for this table. For this created date, which is an automatically generated field, if you're familiar with, I want to provide some more context that, hey, the created date is the same date that the student enrolled. And now we can add that for all these other students' names, gender as well, and student photos to add more descriptions for the LLM. So by default, this LLM bracket adds more context, and it's also sent to the LLM when you ask a question. Here's sort of how the database is set up. Oh, go ahead. I see a question.
So no, make sure I'm processing. So as long as you add the
Yes.
LLM in the front of the comment, it's going to send the information automatically without you telling it to the LLM.
Yes.
That's
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah. Adds more information, helps the LLM figure out more information. It's going to help out. Quick picture of how the database is set up here. So I have students, and that's related to grades, and each of the grades obviously are associated with the class. Pretty simple one. I'm sure there's more improvements I can make, but yeah. Let's see. I'm going to go ahead. Now here's the script step I've created for the perform SQL by natural language. Similar to perform find by natural language, we're also using this configure AI account. We can use the other providers such as Cohere, Anthropic, and also our own AI model server. It's also important to note users who want to try out different providers, that will also work here for the endpoint and API keys, as long as they specify, as long as the response is in an OpenAI format. So yeah, here we have the perform SQL query by natural language. I've linked the account. I set the model, which is GPT-4o. I have a prompt, which is from a chat history field. And then I've also selected the 3 previous tables to share in here. And once you click tables, you'll be able to see a checkbox and a little window where you can select all the fields you want to, all the tables you want to share with the LLM. Okay, so here's a demo. Oh, this one doesn't seem like it has it loaded. Oh, there we go. Okay. So for the purposes of my database, I want to figure out the students who are taking history. So like you saw before in my database schema, there's a couple of related fields, right, or related tables. So I'm able to get a response here about 2 students taking history. Now, another query here that occurs is which students are taking history. So once I ask that, we'll be able to get the response here in a natural language format. So if we go back to the script step here, we can see that the action type is query. There's a couple of options here. We can get the SQL back, or we can just get the data that's responded from the SQL. And that allows us to sort of control what data is sent to the LLM. If we do query, for example, only our table DDL is sent to the LLM, and the SQL response back is ran on top of our database. once we get the SQL responses, we send another query or chat to LLM to sort of say, hey, make this into a more natural language response.
Nice. I assume by natural language response you mean not extremely complicated
Yeah.
code.
Just if we can imagine sort of what the response would look like for this, looks like I had a different thing. If we look at like the question for how many students are taking history, this would just respond to.
There you go.
Perfect.
This is really cool. A comment is this: I'm having a similar feeling to unboxing a new toy on Christmas morning.
I'm glad this literally is a lot of features, and it's going to be great enhancements.
Okay. Do you have another demo, or are you wrapping up?
I have a couple other slides, but those slides are dependent on what kind of questions people have. So I'm all wrapped up.
Okay. You're waiting for the questions.
Yes.
So the initial send is just the table information, but the second response is sending the actual verbiage and it just cleans it up.
Yes. So if you use the get table DDL calculation function, you'll be able to see what context we send for the first pass.
Okay.
Once we generate the SQL, once the LLM generates the SQL, we run it on our database and we send the results back to the LLM to sort of make it more into like a sentence or something like that.
So you can actually read it and understand, which is nice.
Yeah.
Let me see. I'm hunting, I'm doing the question organization real fast. So the second send could contain sensitive data, question mark.
Potentially, yes.
That's where you begin looking at hosting stuff on your FileMaker server instead.
Yep. And honestly, if you're trying to like customize what you get back from the LLM, the configure prop template script step does a really good job of allowing users to sort of change or make modifications to the prompts that we send.
Okay, cool. So, can you get a found set from the query or pass the answer to get record by list of IDs?
Yes, there is an option to return a JSON format, which will get like the responses specifically from the LLM. And I think that should be in the actions as well. If I go back here, the get here. So the get option in the perform find by natural language will have different options for JSON, but not for record ID.
Do we need server to be updated to the latest version to take advantage of the new AI scripts in WebDirect?
Yeah, I mean, we recommend updating server, especially to take advantage of these script steps. But for WebDirect, yes.
Okay, interesting.
Yeah.
Good to know.
Yeah, that's pretty much true for any releases that anything that's a client side script step. WebDirect is the client in this case that server needs to be updated to get those.
What are the we covered this one. So does the URL to the AI FMS deployment need to have an external URL, or can it have an internal IP local to the main FMS?
In the demo that I just did the IP address. So it's not picky about that.
Can you describe a few examples of how AI and LM how AI and FM 2025 enables functionality that was absent prior to AI integration? A few examples can help us wrap our head around this really new functionality. It seems awesome. Thank you very much.
Yeah, I think. Oh, you want to go ahead there?
No, Connor, go ahead. Go ahead.
Oh, okay.
I can tag on after.
Yeah, I think this was what I wanted to allude to at the beginning. That the previous release was focused mostly on embedding and semantic finds, but now we're putting a lot more into being able to do text generation and tweaking the models to know your business. So yeah, it's through RAG, through fine tuning, through training. You can make the model be aware of what it needs to serve your purposes. And hosting your own local models is a lot easier this time around. I know technically we supported it last time, but we didn't have any of the admin console interface for it. And I guess the other thing that I guess we're not demoing here, but is is new and cool this release is the generate response from model, or generate response from model with tools in particular that allows you to hook into custom functions in your database. And so then when you send a prompt to the model, not only are you expecting a text response, you're enabling it to perform an action on your behalf, and it can smartly decide whether or not performing that action by triggering a custom function is going to pertain to answering your question. So that is all stuff that we are delivering new in this release that is just opening up all sorts of doors for our developers to get creative and do amazing things. So
yes, which I'm looking forward to. I expect some really crazy. Okay, for me over here, I'm the live stream lady. If y'all developers don't make some really cool sample files that I can show off with this stuff over the next year, I will be very disappointed. Can you have the AI update the found set on a local FileMaker database?
So typically, when you run the script step, it has to be on the current layout. So if you're on like Pro and you run, like you click a button and that's a script trigger to a perform find by natural language script, it will occur on that client, but it won't update something on a different client.
There you go. How much of the AI compute is within FM22 versus in the cloud?
It depends. If the model provider you select is like OpenAI or Anthropic or here, that's all in the cloud, right? But if you decide to do like RAG, the generating embeddings or text generation or fine tuning, that all occurs locally on the on-prem server.
I think just to be specific, even those actions don't happen on the Pro client. Those are still on the FileMaker server side. So on the FileMaker Pro side, the workload is simply just crafting the response or crafting the query and sending it, and waiting for the reply. So most of the response generation is going to be done on the model server side, whether that's local or cloud. Yeah.
The only exception to that is the regression model.
Okay.
Regression model occurs on the client or on server if you're running perform script on server.
Mm-hmm.
Derek Wong and I will talk a little bit more about that tomorrow. So
okay, I was going to ask you immediately what that was, but if you're going to talk about it tomorrow, I'm going to save a pin in that one. Okay, so I'm going to toss this question out there because I think it's important. FileMaker is unique in that it has a really wide variety of people at different levels of experience. I hear you guys talking about LLM, but I still don't really understand what a model is. What is a model?
Sure. I can try to take a stab at it. So when we are referring to models in AI, this is essentially like a mathematical representation of words that have been tokenized and have like a relationship to each other. So if you imagine in the English language, some words tend to follow each other in the way we speak. The model, when you choose one model versus another, such as like ChatGPT or Anthropic or Cohere, the relationships between all the words are going to be slightly different. And so this is why the response you get back is going to be slightly different between them. And also why the larger the model is, the more precise the answer can be. Yeah, I guess they call it a model in that it's just a predictive tool to try to give you the answer it thinks you want to hear in this. I don't know, Derek, you want to add any more to that?
No, that's pretty good. I mean, there's different types of models.
Yeah.
Embedding models, text generation models. Yeah, I think you nailed it. Yeah, it's all math going on behind the scenes.
Yeah.
Which is awesome. No, I think that's a really great explanation. We will be, frankly, tackling that explanation a couple times over the weeks. I know it's going to take a bit for some people who've never used it and now want to use it because it's a huge part of FileMaker currently. to
Margaret,
round.
that reminds me of something that may be interesting is to show off where the models go. Would that be
Yeah,
so? Okay, let me
actually.
share back again. So I showed earlier how you can do the model downloading from admin console.
Mm-hmm.
And so these models are pretty large, and so when you do an add model, you can type in the name of it, and so and pick the type. And I guess I should mention that, like, to know the name of it, that a lot of these are just on Hugging Face. And so if you're looking at this repository, um, it's it'll have the path. So, like, I mean, these are a lot that we haven't done a lot of testing with, but you can see that there's like a base repository slash and then the model name. That's essentially what you put in here. And then the UI that you'll see in admin console will just say downloading. What you can do to essentially see the progress of it is look into this path. So this is in the I'm installed on Mac OS here. So, but the FileMaker LLM folder has a hidden folder. So I'm going to show hidden files here called .cache. And then you can see the repository hub. And then there's a folder here for each of the models I've downloaded. And so this is where, like, if you need to like clear it out, you should be able to just remove them from the admin console. But if you want to just make sure, you can come here. And I'm sure this is something we'll work on improving in the future, but you can do a get info on the model to see the size and see if it's growing or not. If you dive into it and look at the blobs, you can see, I think it'll say like .incomplete if it's still being worked on. And as far as the models go, you can compare. So if I've just clicked on a random model here. If I click on files and versions, here's the list of files that go with this particular model, and you can add them up and sort of get a rough idea of how large it's going to be. So you can see that the largest components of this one is 5 gigs and 1 gig. So if you were to download this particular model, you could expect it to be around 6 gigs in the end. So that's and then if there's any issues with the downloading, there's a log file that we can look at in open source LLM server. This FM LLMOS debug log may have some clues as if it failed, but you can always go to the cache and clear it out and retry again if you need to. But yeah, this is something that we want to make it as manageable as we can from the admin console itself, but just to give some good troubleshooting in case anyone needs it. I want to just share the path there. So,
No, I appreciate that, honestly. That makes
yeah,
stuff a lot clearer.
yeah.
And to be clear, when you remove it from the admin console, it doesn't actually remove the files.
That's
It
right.
just
Thank you,
removes it
Derek. Yeah.
from the model acknowledgement JSON that we have in the data preferences.
Okay. So
Yep.
going to the physical path may still be something to do if you're like wanting to free up space. If you're, if you downloaded a 12 gig model you're not going to use anymore, you can clean it up that way. So
Yep.
Yeah, models are pretty chunky, aren't they, as a general rule? Like,
Yep.
yeah.
And typically, like the text embedding ones and image embedding ones, they're not that large. I would say like 400 megabytes. The Gemma 3 Code Gemma models, those are in the tens of 20s, maybe 30 gigs. So
so it's a substantial chunk. We got a question that snuck up on me. Can I replace a find dialog with filters to find account records with AI natural processing on a local client?
I think the way to think about that script step is if you're looking at a layout, if the field is findable, we're kind of automating the FileMaker find and injecting AI to it. So filters, I think, like if you saw in the demo that I had earlier, the greater than 1000, that could be a filter per se. So yeah, I hope that answers the question.
I hope, yeah, we're going to get a lot of those. We get people like, oh, I have a specific use case. Can I do this? I suspect now the answer a lot of the time is yes.
Mhm.
Um,
If we don't know, I'll just ask the model. So
just dump all the FileMaker help documentation in there and every bit of work any developers put out on the AI and hope it pops out
yeah,
an answer.
And we kind of showed the models. Is it all right if I share my screen to sort of
yeah,
show you the models we support?
Yes.
go for it. Yeah.
Okay, perfect. That might be some good information. Let's see. Back to here. So to start off, the system requirements, if we're all familiar with FileMaker Server, there's a system requirements sheet. Here for Windows and Ubuntu, we're really recommending CUDA hardware for text generation. In this case, you can see 32 gigs of VRAM or more. A lot of these models are quite intensive. So for text generation, make sure you use CUDA hardware.
And
On the Mac side.
related to that, I just want to say that I think we put in the README that comes with FileMaker Server how you can steps you can do to check if your hardware supports CUDA or not, and
Yep.
then how to enable it if it does. So
Yeah. And on the Mac side, we use MLX, which is it sits on Apple Silicon. So it uses a lot of the hardware on the Apple Silicon side. So more RAM, the better. Mac OS uses unified RAM, so it helps out a lot in simple terms. For embedding models, 21.1, a lot of the stuff is still the same here for models. One thing to note is the AI model server supports image embedding, while the other providers don't. We don't support it for those use cases yet. And in text generation here, you can see we have tool calling, which is what Conrad mentioned before for generate response from model, and then also just the normal text generation, asking questions and stuff like that.
There you go. That's actually that's a nifty list. Is this
Mhm.
list posted in a blog somewhere so I can
Yes,
spam it at
it should be
people?
in the system requirements.
Okay. Oh, right.
Thing.
So it's actually be in the system
Yes.
record. Yeah. Okay. Yes.
Mhm.
I will
Mhm.
spam that places accordingly.
And then
Uh,
one interesting good thing to note too is like CodeGemma requires 16 gigs of RAM to load, 16 gigs of VRAM or Mac OS's RAM, and then Gemma 3 requires 24 gigs.
cool. Yes. So you want to not skimp out on the amount of RAM you're buying if you're doing a lot of heavy AI work.
Absolutely.
Don't set yourself up for failure for that.
Mhm.
Uh,
And if tomorrow, Derek will also cover the setup of CUDA as well. So if people are interested in that, we will demo it tomorrow.
Awesome. Cool. I'm excited to see that. I'm going to fling the last couple questions at you before you all escape into the day. How many tokens of table data can be passed and perform find by natural language?
Oh, that's a good question. That token limit corresponds to the actual provider. So different models have different limits. We can use this parameter called max tokens or max new tokens to limit how many tokens are sent or how many tokens are generated from the LLM provider.
To use CUDA, is it better to use an RTX 5090 or just an RTX 4090? I can't find any new 4090s.
4090 and 5090, I think there's like a small boost in performance, but 4090 works great too.
There you go. How much, security question. How much structural data is sent to the LLM when carrying out this type of find for the natural find stuff?
Yeah, for natural find, a great way to test to see what is sent is to use the get fields on layout calculation step. And you can specify the layout name or leave it empty, and that will just generate what is specifically sent. In terms of what is sent, just anything that is findable on the current layout.
Okay, cool. So I assume that if you stash a field off onto the void that a lot of developers hide stuff on that's not going to be sent to the LLM?
Yeah, it will.
Got it. Okay, cool. So all my secret stashes will be safe. Uh, is the structural data sent as XML or in English?
Structural data is sent as JSON for both SQL query and for the file paths.
Structural data is also DDL, right? Question mark.
Yes. The DDL is the name we use for the SQL side, and then get fields on layout is the sort of name we use on the find side.
Is image generation supported?
That's something we're looking into, but for this version, it's not supported yet.
Add it to your wish list.
Mhm.
The engineers will sneak it into your stockings at some point. Can you, okay, this is a demo request. I'm going to ask it. I don't know the magnitude of what they're asking. I don't know if this is like a quick share or if this is like a serious business. Can you demo how to enable MLX?
Oh, MLX is easy. I can't demo it because it's all handled automatically on our installation for the admin console.
Oh, okay,
Yeah.
nice. You don't even have to fiddle with it.
Yep.
There's nothing you got to do.
Yep.
Nice. Cool. Does the perform find by natural language script get its context from the table or the layout? So if you have a simple picker layout, does it limit its scope of fields?
Yeah, that specifically gets it from the layout.
Got it. Yeah, I think that's answered. How do we deal with the weird internal field names versus what users actually see on the layout?
Oh, that's a perfect one. Using the LLM comments is the perfect way to sort of differentiate name and provide more context.
Got it. Because I'm pretty sure every developer has named stuff really weirdly. I've had some really epic ones over the years that accidentally snuck into FM starting point. Nothing like getting unfortunate phone calls because people don't like what you've named a certain field. Uh, um, with 200 users all searching all day, every day, wouldn't this get really expensive?
Yeah, potentially. Depending on the number of requests, as your requests go, if you have like a token limit, you could reach it quite quickly. Using the get last token usage calculation function, you can determine how many tokens are used. If your database is large, you might use more tokens because you're providing more information. And if the questions you're asking are more complicated, it might use more tokens too.
Okay. We're getting up to the end of the hour, so I'm not gonna we have a stack still to wander our way through, but we have you for another entire day. So you get to come back and suffer more. No, seriously, thank you very much, Derek and Connor. It's been awesome. The demos were awesome. Talking with you guys has been awesome. Hopefully we are understanding this
Thank
a
you,
little
Margaret.
bit better. Yeah.
Thank you,
When
Margaret.
Wim would like to remind me to mention there's also, you guys apparently wrote up a white paper that talks the details behind the requirements. So
Yep.
that'll be good because in case you're wondering, like, well, why do I have to do this? Can I just skimp? Engineering has given you many reasons for why you should probably not, I'm going to guess. So, with that all being said, I'm going to share my screen. I'm going to wrap this up, and we're going to see you all tomorrow. Have a lovely day. Thank you so much, seriously, both for the release and for the awesome discussions on it. Bye, everybody.